Oh, yeah. I'm a natural born killer. That's our worst Mike Tyson that ever existed. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm JJ. That's Deacon. We are your internet dads. We're going to talk about stuff. Amazing, amazing stuff. Super important stuff. I got a couple things. I got at least one story on the docket that I think is going to make steam come out of Deacon's ears. I'm not sure. Anytime any story comes up about the Civil War, he just boils red. And steam comes out his ears. It even leaks out his eyeballs.
It's called the War of Northern Aggression in our house. Okay. So you think I'm joking. Hello, sir. JJ and I have literally not even said hello and good morning to each other this morning. He was like, test. Can you hear this crap? I said, yeah.
Let's go.
Hit the show. So good morning.
No confidence that this system is like gonna work. Yesterday the show was going just great, and then my computer was like, hold up, I got an idea.
I got back to the show and I'm like, I just looked in here a second ago and he was there, and now he's not. So I know he didn't end.
I was talking about plastic eating worms, and I guess it's one of them websites that just loads like all the ads or something.
Everything,
I don't know.
Every ad on the internet.
I wonder if I
don't click on it again.
Maybe
you want me to load the worm story?
No, I want to start about this. We can talk about the worm story because you didn't actually hear anything about it.
No,
it's plastic eating worms. It's pretty cool. Which you know what? Why not? Let's start with that. Okay. There's these pull it up on your radio station computer.
I was looking at the websites first. Okay, so you got x.com. Okay, that's fine. And then the conversation.com. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'll go to X.
Actually get that from Owen Gregorian. Owen Gregorian basically posted the story. The X had a photo. I mean, I think maybe even the X article had a picture of it. So there are these worms that have been discovered in Kenya.
Make me moderator.
That are coming up so soon. And I had like everything.
It used to be a lot. JJ and I did this show on a different program for a year, and it worked a lot smoother, and we got used to that. And then we had to move over to this, and it's not as smooth as it was.
Well, the reason it works so smooth is because on the other system, their permissions management system is so dumb that they were just like, we'll just make Deacon also JJ.
I was also you.
Yeah. Okay, so check it out. They got these worms in Kenya, and they found these worms in Kenya, and these worms in Kenya apparently in their digestive system are able to host the kind of bacteria that can digest polystyrene, which is styrofoam. So these worms in their larval state, which lasts 8 to 10 weeks, can eat styrofoam and digest it and turn it into, I don't know, larval poo or who knows what. But so we have the bacteria that we can put on plastic, like out in the ocean. There's that plastic island. I'm not talking about Puerto Rico. I'm talking about
you're right. There is a bacteria that we have that they have found that will eat plastic and digest it, and that's what they were talking about, is to put it in that crap in the ocean. And do you know, when they say that, just real quick, when they say that about the floating trash island and all that plastic and stuff, and you're like, oh, America, we need to stop that in America. The Chinese do more of that than America will do in 50 years in a year. So you need to talk to China before doing anything in America.
All right. Good morning, y'all. So we found these worms that can eat styrofoam. So now I'm thinking, like, do we export these worms all over the world, or, Deacon, plan B? What do you think about this? We collect all of our trash and dump it in Kenya there are worms to eat. Which of those sounds, logistically?
So it says we found that the mealworms on the styrofoam plus bran, bran diet survived at a higher rate than those fed on styrofoam alone. Polystyrene, how do you say that?
Polyesterine.
Polyesterine, yeah, that's right. Yeah, polyesterine. Okay, thank you.
No, polystyrene. Plastic? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, styrofoam. We also found out that they consumed that more efficiently than those on a styrofoam only diet. The styrofoam only diet did support the mealworms' survival. They didn't have enough nutrition to make them efficient in breaking it down. So, in order for it to worms to break it down better, they need to mix that. They need to feed them the styrofoam with bran, and make sure the worms have that. That's pretty interesting. They were able to break down approximately 11.7% of the total styrofoam over the trial period. That's awesome.
I mean that's okay. So basically they were like, here worms, here is some polystyrene, and the worms were like, I guess. And then they were like, here's some with bran, and the worms were like, oh my God, finally we're not starving. That other stuff is terrible. Why are you making us eat that?
They're like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's all we have. His mother, when they have cabbage soup, it's all they have is styrofoam, and when they sprinkle a little sugar on it, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, this is so much better. Great.
This is so much better. That's pretty funny.
These guys were just feeding us plastic, which it honestly tastes terrible.
Tastes like crap.
And my bowels. Let me just tell you, my bowels when eating plastic, no good, no bueno. All right, here's today's title story, and we're still going through the political season. The political season never ends, but we're not doing a political story right now, I don't think. But we don't have a lot of interesting news. What's happening right now in politics is that Donald Trump is just once a day he's dropping a new cabinet position to just keep the media just churning. He's dropping and they fall for it every single day. Anyway, no, what we're talking about is Mike Tyson. I'm a natural born killer. Mike Tyson, it highlights the difference between him and Jake Paul. Are you looking forward to this fight? Are you gonna? I think it's on Netflix, so I don't know how I'm gonna watch it, but
we'll watch it. I've got you.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. YouTuber Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are finally set to battle in their AT&T Stadium fight in Dallas on Friday night. So, like in 2 days. Hey, morning, Dave. After watching Paul call him out following his victory over Mike Perry in July, Tyson reveals what he believes is the biggest difference between himself and Jake Paul. Here it is right here. I'm just going to play it. Right here.
Final thing, I presume that Mike Tyson is watching this right now. Is there anything you want to say to him?
Mike, I love you, but this is my sport now. It's an honor to get in the ring with you. I'm so honored. You're a legend, but I'm going to take your throne, brother.
There's a fundamental difference between me and Jake. He's a manufactured killer. Television and paper made him a killer. He's manufactured. I'm a natural born killer. That's the difference.
I believe Mike. I believe him.
Now, Mike is 58.
I am super excited about this fight, though.
I don't care how old he is. Have you seen Mike Tyson at 58?
I don't care if he's 70. That dude is always going to be.
Yeah.
No, this is I don't know enough to be able to call it one way or another, but I know this. I think he fought, I think it was Roy Johnson, something like that. He did like an expo fight a couple years ago with that guy. And he went from being like, he had mellowed out into like pretty chill Mike, but then he was like, oh, we're going to do this expo fight. So he started working out again. And he immediately went back to like, he's like, as soon as I start working out, he becomes like, gorilla Mike, and he's like aggressive, strong, powerful.
Yeah. Mike Tyson is an older guy. We're all, Mike's only about 10 years older than us. We're all mellowed out, and I'm sure I might not speak for all. I speak for myself, but I used to have a temper. I still do sometimes, but it's I've got a better hand. We've mellowed out as older guys, and Mike Tyson has mellowed out as well. But if that switch gets switched for either one of you, somebody does something to your children.
Oh yeah, I know
that switch,
right.
That type of switch.
Yeah,
Mike's that switch can be turned on, and I think Mike's fixing to turn on a switch that hasn't been shut on in a long time.
Yeah. So, and the thing about, look, the thing that's different between Mike Tyson and us, he's always been able to turn that switch on, all the time, and it stays on
for a while.
Yeah. It really, like he got.
Mike Tyson could not control himself for a while.
Yeah.
And he paid the price. He suffered the consequences, and he come back out, and he so far it looks like he's trying to become a better person, than what he was. We all are.
I think that's true. I think he has struggled to be, he's been doing the work to be, be a person that he's not ashamed of being or unhappy being.
He's imagine that. Put yourself in Mike Tyson's shoes. Since he was a young kid, he's been trained to be a killer, a boxer,
right.
to know how to knock someone out and know how to dodge and know how to do this. And then at 19, 20 years old or something, the whole world was drooling over him, telling him he's the best in the world.
Oh yeah.
So he's lived that life his whole life. And Jake Paul, no offense to him. He may have started off as a stupid YouTuber or a TikToker, whatever the crap he was back then. But I think to be honest, I think he's a pretty good boxer. Alex, my son, was talking about him. Was like, man, he's a good fighter.
Tyson Fury recently commented on it and said Tyson Fury beat Jake Paul. He said that Jake Paul's an average fighter when it comes to fighters. Now, if you look at the YouTube community and these we'll say manufactured killers, he said Jake Paul's the best of the best when it comes to those. But Mike Tyson's on a whole different level.
He's boxing, and there's boxing, and there's promotion of your show. There's selling seats and building anticipation and building hype. Those are two different jobs.
Here's where Jake Paul would destroy me. Like absolutely destroy me.
So well, here's what I want to know, because I always joked about this a long time ago with those Mike Tyson fights. And I'm like, man, if they ask you, because somebody would say, if they ask you to go in the ring with Mike Tyson, would you go? And I always said, absolutely. Absolutely, I would go, because I know I'm not going to win. And I know I'm going to get knocked out with like one or two punches. But I also know that I've got about a $30 million paycheck that I'm fixing to cash for being in that fight. Those guys got
just
tons
a couple
of money.
his punches. He's going to crack your skull.
Well, is a cracked skull and 6 months rehabilitation is compensation $2 million okay for that? I don't know. I've had my face punched before.
Oh, he could definitely kill you with one of his punches.
No, I know that, but maybe he would hold up because I'm a little weakling guy, and he'd be like, I don't need to punch this guy so hard.
I just texted my wife that the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is on Netflix Friday.
I just want to point out that it was Deke who impersonated Mike Tyson. Yeah, Friday. It's on Netflix. Free on Netflix.
We'll figure it out after show.
Camping, so I'm gonna miss it.
Oh,
you're gonna be camping?
Yes. I might have to.
Well, if you got your phone, you may be able to watch it because do something.
It's a primitive camp, so I can't have my phone out.
You your phone, your primitive camping.
I gotta go to the tent, guys. And all of us are gonna go to our tents.
Okay, so
Dumbo really hurt my stomach. I'll be back.
Mike Tyson 58, Jake Paul 28. Okay, this is what I was going to say.
We were like 12, 13 years old when he was the champion.
What I heard was on his Expo fight that he did against, I think it's Roy Johnson, but I probably got the name wrong, so forgive me. But he did this Expo fight like 2-3 years ago. He trained up for that, and it seems like they made a gentleman's agreement back in the back to like not for Mike Tyson to not like knock him in the head too hard, because the appraisal that I heard, I think I heard Joe Rogan talking about this, that it looked like Tyson was pulling punches to the headshots against Roy, but when he was doing body shots, he was not holding back, and he busted that dude up hard. So,
and Tyson's in better shape now than he was when he was in that fight.
Yeah, because he's basically been like, "Oh, we're gonna do this fight." He's been training for it since July. He had a medical episode, but if Tyson's like, you know what, I'm 58, I don't have to like hold back.
Yeah,
we're gonna see what happens if he doesn't.
Yeah,
hold
Tyson
back.
said the other day, he said, "I ain't got much life left," so he's not holding anything back. He's going all in.
Wow. I mean, we'll see.
You're stuttering. You're
so
you're
I love people all day. Lead a short life of glory than a long life of obscurity. Is it happening already? Let me close this tab.
Yeah, you're buffering.
Right. If you know what, I'm gonna pull the app up on my phone just in case it kicks over, and then I can kill the show quick.
Oh, I thought I had.
All right, Deke, what do you want to talk about?
I have 10 shocking stories that the media has currently buried on you.
We do a countdown.
Oh,
number 10.
I like you did this last week, and I thought it was really good, except for the show got blacklisted by YouTube. Aside from that, it was great. Yeah.
Number 10. This one may be blacklisted on YouTube again. Starting off with number 10. Shocking story is that the media has currently buried. Number 10, a woman fired for refusing the COVID jab has won a jaw-dropping $12 million jury verdict against her ex-employer. This lady named Lisa was awarded all this money after a federal jury ruled that Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan violated her religious beliefs. She was a veteran IT specialist with over 30 years at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, and she was terminated for not taking the COVID-19 shot, citing her Catholic faith. So, as it becomes more common, I'm not going to read that. You can read that if you want to. YouTube will get mad at me if I say that. Expect more future lawsuits to swing in favor of those who were fired for refusing COVID jabs, is what this story says. I have to word things a certain way.
Well, we can do some sentence stuff, like as it becomes is a really great way to segue this. It's an unsafe season here for deer in Kentucky. You see what I'm doing there?
Yeah, that's nice. Very nice.
Code it.
All right, number 9, Dr. Peter McCullough calls on Trump to repeal the 1986 Vaccine Injury Act. This would strip Big Pharma of its liability shield, making them accountable for injuries caused by their products. He says Americans deserve safe vaccines, and when they are applied, the company should stand behind their products, and they should have this liability shield removed. Dr. McCullough also urged President-elect Trump to pull the COVID jabs off the market. They have not had a safety track record America wanted to see, and sadly, many have suffered injuries, disabilities, and even death. Number 8. Do you know this lady? 8.
Oh, yeah, that's Megyn Kelly.
Megyn. Here's a minute-long thing for Megyn. And near the end, moms and dads, you will want to put earmuffs on your kiddos.
I was open-minded. I was never a feminist, but I certainly was listening on where women were in America. And then your absolute insanity radicalized me the other way, to stand up against you, to fight you with everything I have, because you're destructive and you're deeply, deeply wrong. And my standing up for female empowerment, which I've done my entire life, does not require me to shit all over American men. I knew what you leftists thought of feminism. It meant abortion and crapping on men. And most of us women over on the side of the normies don't want that. We love our husband. We love our boys, our sons, our dads, our brothers, our male friends and colleagues. And we are not ready to consider this a zero-sum game where we must advance at their expense. Until you get that through your thick fucking head, you'll keep losing.
Wow. Megyn.
All right. Here you go, Megyn.
Somebody got some
Bring the tone down a little bit. Megan, jeez.
All right.
A
This
little worked up. She's
this
got
is
me.
a longer clip, and I'm not going to show it. But this guy is Colonel Douglas McGregor. All right.
Okay.
He gave a very powerful message, America First Veterans Day message. In the message, he says, our military power now rests on the legacy of the Cold War. It is outstretched, undermanned, badly led, and the wrong fit for the 21st century. He goes on, if nothing is done to end the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, there is a real potential for the destruction Americans see only on television to reach our shores. Americans, we must make sure our fighting forces are not compelled to fight far from our shores when there may be no need to fight at all. As we pause on Veterans Day to glance at it back over the long destructive trail from World War I to today, Americans should remember the veterans of previous wars who believe they must conquer or die to protect American freedom and prosperity. I looked up this number not too long ago. The United States of America, since we've been founded, has been in 115 or so military conflicts and like 5 formal declarations of war. Yes, Dave.
Question. I'm trying to be very careful with what I say, but is it possible that we are involved in wars that are not counted on there? For instance,
Absolutely.
I know somebody who's in politics, a very high-ranking official, like one of the top or right next to the top, who said that we weren't in any wars. And I have friends overseas in war zones right now in uniform.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that.
But what I was getting at was out of all
lower than what it actually is.
Yeah, and this number is actually lower than what it is, but this is there have been roughly 650,000 estimated soldiers, American soldiers that have been killed, and this is not including civilian casualties, which would make that number well over 1 million. And I posted that. I was like, hey, just remember that number on election day, because you're going to be stepping over the graves of every single one of those people. There's going to be a lot of people out there that you're stepping over, so you need to be careful. So there's Colonel Douglas McGregor. Rasmussen's leading pollster, Mark Mitchell. You see, Mark, I think that may be him. That may not. He says evidence suggests that the Democrats tried and failed to steal the election.
But if you just do some basic math, 7% of 435 is 30 seats. So why didn't the Republicans pick up something in the vicinity of 30 seats? I think that's a really valid question, because in 2016 and in 2020, the state polling was to the right. The state outcome was to the right of the national popular vote. But here, for the first time, the state outcomes were to the left of the national popular vote. And that is weird and different. And so I think that the question that Republican voters should be asking themselves for the next 4 years is, how come Trump changed like 10 million people's minds, inspired new people to come out and vote for him that never have, inspired switch voters all across the country in almost every state? How come just in the battlegrounds, those particular states only move to the right 1 or 2 points? I think that's a very valid question.
Question.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate. I'm going to say that's a bad argument because it can be flipped the other way.
It's not only a bad argument. If you consider that the driving force of the election was Trump and Harris, and that is Trump, however much we don't like him or do like him or what have you, is putting out a plan, and Harris is uniquely unlikable, horrible, just unattractive to people. It's not unimaginable that people will vote Trump at the top of the ticket and then carry on like normal and vote Democrat down ticket. So for their local representatives and their congresspeople and stuff, it's not unreasonable. And the actual gap between Kamala and Trump in the popular vote has shrank, but it's still around 6 million votes. Last I checked yesterday, it was like 69 million Harris and like 73 million Trump, something like that. So, so there's still a gap, but now
I have
also seen some states where there's some some 4 a.m. dumps, and we've got the we got the graph with the famous Biden F dump. Well, we've got a couple of those like in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's weird that I just personally think it's weird that more people got out to vote in these districts and precincts that they're reporting than ever before. I mean, Kentucky was crazy, the number of people that got out and voted as compared to the other years. But yet we're 10 million voters less this year, this election, than in 2020. There's 10, mean to tell me more people got out to vote this time than ever before, and we're still 10 million votes less than we were in 2020. That just is weird to me.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
All right, so that guy right there is General Mike Flynn. He's a retired U.S. Army lieutenant general. He was the 24th National Security Advisor for the first Trump administration, and he has a letter that he released on Sunday. And it's not that long, but I want to read it here, okay?
All right.
Here, I don't know. Yeah, hang on. Share this tab instead. Here you go. Democrats, if you're wondering why America voted for Trump, allow me to explain. The truth is the American people are sick of your shit. You ruined our nation and our culture. You openly mocked, belittled, and discriminated us and called us racist, misogynist, Nazis when we started noticing. I don't like this font. You defiled and corrupted all of our great institutions to include the media, social media, tech, academia, intelligence, health, pharma, Hollywood, entertainment, sports, everything. You weaponized every aspect of American life. You used it to push your insane far left agenda down our throats. You told us Trump was a Russian asset and he was going to start World War III and he would be worse than Hitler. Then you used that as an excuse to justify hatred towards Trump supporters and to riot in the streets. You used it as if an excuse to obstruct and ruin Trump's entire first term, and then turned out it was all a lie. Then during COVID, you demanded that we all be forced to take medical experimentation without testing. You wanted dissenters locked in prison. You wanted children taken from their anti-vax parents. You wanted the anti-vax in camps. You were rooting for our deaths. Then it turned out you were all wrong about everything, from the man-made origin to masks to vaccines to social distancing to ivermectin to HCQ to natural immunity and everything in between. Then during Ukraine, you told us that Ukraine was a bastion of democracy and that they desperately needed all of our tax dollars. Then it turned out that Ukraine is one of the most corrupt nations in the world with literal Nazi military forces. And it was actually just a money laundering operation to steal from the American taxpayer. You want to defend Ukraine's borders more than our own. You sent hundreds of billions of dollars to the other side of the planet while Americans are suffering, all based on more lies. Then there's the whole Epstein, Diddy, human trafficking element. You all told us, I hate this word, vehemently, that human trafficking was a myth. You told us the border was secure. You told us that anyone who questioned it was an irredeemable and deplorable conspiracy theorist and a piece of garbage. You said anyone who watched Sound of Freedom was a QAnon extremist and a threat to democracy. We watched it on opening day in the theaters. Then it turned out to be true, and the elites really are engaged in unspeakable crimes against children. After all, you told us for decades this was not true. You covered up the most heinous crimes imaginable for political gain. I could do this for days, but I think you get the point. The American people are awake to the scam and the true evil going on around us, and we are not going to stand for it anymore. So we hired Donald Trump and his team of patriots to rectify the situation and bring America back to her greatness. This is the reality of the situation. You are the bad guys, and you have been deceived. The sooner you wake up to it, the sooner you can join us in repairing this nation. Or you can choose to defy reality and spend the rest of your lives consumed by hate based on lies. The choice is yours. Signed, a true American patriot. At Real Donald Trump, thank you for your courage and for standing in the fire for America and all of humanity. God bless America. General Mike Flynn, United States Army. Lieutenant.
So here is let's see. Here it is right here. So this is the fraud graph that you guys are familiar with seeing from 2020, and everybody's like, well, I don't know if it was fraud or not. I don't know. This is from 2024. This is Wisconsin. Why is it? Oh, maybe it's my screen. Yeah. Okay. So here we have 97,000 or something, maybe 30,000 votes dumped at 4 a.m. on election night.
Well,
so
they just came in from some spots that were.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for that.
We'll find out. We can get through the rest of these real quick. Number 4, the Kremlin reports that Trump spoke to Putin after the election are pure fiction. Number 3, Vivek Ramaswamy goes on ABC News and delivers a stunning message to Democrats after Trump's win.
I did see that.
Yeah, did you see that?
That's the only thing I've seen on this news that you're talking about. That I did see.
Hang on, let me.
But let me ask you about the unity, and I think you've referred to this as a resurgence of national unity. I'm hearing that from some people around the former president, but I'm hearing a very different message from others around the former president. For example, Mike Davis, who had been mentioned by Donald Trump Jr. as a possible candidate for attorney general in a new Trump administration, has been calling for all-out revenge against Trump's opponents. I want to give you just a couple of examples, and believe me, there are many, but a couple of examples of what he has said on X. He says, Trump's opponents attempted to bankrupt him for non-fraud, imprison him for non-crimes, and take him off the ballot and take off his head. Now they want unity. F them. Let's unify them in prison. And one more, short one. Here's my current mood. I want to drag their dead political bodies through the streets, burn them, and throw them off the wall, legally, politically, and financially, of course. Now, Davis has said he's not going in the new administration, but he was a clerk for Justice Gorsuch. And again, Donald Trump Jr. said this is the kind of guy that could be attorney general.
Well, look, the fact of the matter is you haven't heard that from Donald Trump, and you could airlift any quote from a number of people on the left who aren't very happy with the election result either, but who aren't going into the Harris-Biden administration in their trailing days either. What you're hearing from Donald Trump is he is going to be a president for all Americans. He is a guy who in that first term, he had crowds chanting, lock her up for Hillary Clinton. He didn't prosecute her. I think Donald Trump is focused on what makes people's lives better. And actually, my message to Democrats out there, even those who didn't vote for Donald Trump, is to give them a chance to actually make your life better. And I think a lot of people across the country, even who have bought into, I think, some false narratives about Donald Trump, are going to be pleasantly surprised as to finding more money in their paycheck, prices coming down in the country, a secure border. Those are things most Americans actually care about. And I think it's time to turn the page on a lot of these histrionics or Hitler comparisons or airlifting some quote of some person who Donald Trump.
I mean, this is somebody who's been pretty.
They go on for a bit, but you see what Vivek is saying. Number 2, you see this beautiful lady right here?
That's not a lady. That's Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban has deleted every tweet that he's ever made about Kamala Harris.
I think I know why.
I think
Go
I know
ahead.
why too.
No, I think the reason is because story dropped yesterday that Beyonce got paid $10 million for her endorsement. Lizzo got, I think, $3 million. Eminem got 1.8 million, which means that Eminem is 60%. Yeah, and Eminem is 60% of a Lizzo. So Mark Cuban didn't get anything. All these celebrities got paid, and he just looked like a fool.
Did you all cover that Trump was offering to pay for Harris's debt?
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was just, making fun of the fact that her campaign, for every dollar that Trump spent, I think on staff, Kamala Harris spent 58 for staff.
What I thought was hilarious was that the Democratic media would always kind of brag, we've got 50,000 volunteers. We got 20,000 Democratic volunteers. And you're like, okay. And then you have this story that she raised $1 billion. She spent $1.3 billion or whatever. And now there's people that actually worked for her that are not getting paid, that didn't get paid. And then they're finding out that Beyonce, who didn't even perform, got $10 million. Imagine dedicating your life to your political person and then this happens. Imagine.
Well, you know, you get what you get. I don't know. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
Yeah, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. All right, this next one is 2 minutes and 16 seconds long. Number one.
What is this?
People who weaponize the Department of Justice against Donald Trump are now terrified of the justice they're about to face.
Well, I can't hear Ron Paul there.
Can you not hear Ron Paul there?
No, cannot. It's one of them. You got to reload. You got to unload and reload.
Hang on, let me refresh the page.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's. I think it's.
You think it's what?
Rumble. You got to unshare and reshare. Yeah, we don't hear it.
Well, art on a biscuit.
Just reshare it.
I got you. When you and I talked about this, we want to start off with an article dealing with the DOJ. There's need a lot of reform there. All I can think of when you and I talked about this DOJ, it makes me think of crooked cops.
Yeah.
You know, and that is so bad.
People that are running the Department of Justice are terrified of justice. So this is the political piece. Many in government are worried about Trump's return. At DOJ, they're terrified. I go to the next one. A collective sense of dread has taken hold at the Department of Justice. Talk about waking up in a good mood when you see that, which drew Donald Trump's rage like no other part of the federal government during his campaign. Well, I wonder why that was. You know, they waged lawfare on him for 4 years. You know, the whole Russiagate thing was within the Department of Justice, the FBI. Remember all those, the memos and everything? They were at war with him for 4 years, and now Politico acts like it's somehow, you know, not appropriate for him to be a little irritated.
So there's your top 10 stories that the media did not tell you about this week.
Thank God.
I have a couple of bonus stories here. Headlines.
I got one. I have a story I want to share with you, and I want to get your opinion.
Okay. Yeah. I'm done.
I closed it so that my computer wouldn't die, but I'm gonna pull this up now.
Okay.
So yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a new general was minted posthumously. How do you feel about that kind of thing? Just like, you know, after the fact, they get a promotion.
George Washington did. They made him a 4-star general after his death.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I think it's a way of honoring
someone that done something to benefit America and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hate that it didn't happen during their lifetime, but
it sucks it didn't happen during their lifetime, but posthumously.
So we're in favor of this. Okay. So Harriet Tubman has been posthumously named a general in the Veterans Day ceremony. Harriet Tubman led enslaved individuals to freedom and served as a scout for the Union Army. Governor Wes Moore stated that at the event honored Tubman. Did you say Tubman or Tubman?
Tubman, Harriet Tubman.
That's what I said.
Did you pay
as a
attention
soldier
to your class? Were you hitting on the girls?
I mean, I was probably drawing, to be honest. Marking a significant day for the U.S. So Tubman is now General Tubman.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel in which way?
General for this general for the Union Army posthumously? Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't have a problem with that. She did help.
Okay.
She did help out on that part. Absolutely.
So now we have to refer to her as General Harriet Tubman.
No.
Do you call George Washington General George Washington?
Well,
still.
Yeah,
well, sometimes.
I don't call him General. I'm the first president. No.
When you address Jill Biden, you better say Dr. Jill Biden, by golly.
Okay.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Title earned.
As a never-ending student of history, yes, Harriet Tubman did do a lot of she did do a lot of stuff that yes, if they were like, do you think Harriet Tubman should have been a general? Yeah, man, she had that mind. General? Yeah, the general's not the grunt that goes out and does stuff. The general is the one that makes the plan, executes the plan, and is smart enough to know where all the pieces are going to go 6 moves from now. That's the general. That's the type of person you want in charge. And she would have been one of those people, I think. She's a very smart woman.
Okay.
She had to have been
I really don't have a
do
problem
what
with
she
this.
done.
Now,
Very
what happens-
charismatic. I bet she was a very charismatic woman too.
Probably, probably convicted in her, positions and the things she advocated for. I'm sure she
Absolutely. I
was.
can't imagine living in that time period in America.
So, you guys know I'm kind of cynical. So my thought is like, oh, okay, we're gonna retroactively promote General Tubman. Apparently, it happened to George Washington. What happens when this kind of thing catches on? And somebody's like, well, what about the Muskogee Airmen? Or what about the,
the Muskogee Airmen didn't do general-like things. Should they get like a bonus honorary posthumous rank increase? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But should they be named generals? No. They did something awesome and way to go. And we commemorate you. And look, we got a statue and all this crap. And it's great.
Okay.
Don't just put anybody in there.
Now, because you know how people are about statues, especially on the left. They like to tear those statues down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. I mean, they put a statue up. What do we know about statues? We think we're better than the people in history. We think what did the Taliban do when they raided all those places in the Middle East? Destroyed archaeology and destroyed history. Straight up. I've read so many stories in the past 20 years of them going over there and completely annihilating these 2,000-year-old places.
There is there's a story
We're no
in the
better.
Bible. There's a story in the Bible about Jonah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dave, I'm sure you know it very well. In this story in the we were studying this in Sunday school class, like, I don't know, 6 months ago. And while they were going, I was like, oh, okay. And there was some markers in there about where Jonah went. And at the end of the story, he, goes up on a hill, I think, and he is there with God. Yeah. And then the story kind of ends, but the history in the place is that he never left. Is that Jonah stayed there. And then there was for centuries, a tomb that was rumored to be Jonah's tomb in the place where he went to save these people. And that tomb, Jonah's tomb, existed for centuries until like 2017, when Al-Qaeda or one of these extremists loaded up with dynamite and blew it up. So there used to be, until 10 years. Hey, my wife's got one of those. She's really happy about it.
Everybody needs a little Jesus.
My dad gave me this and he was like, you need a little Jesus? And I was like, I love that. Can I have that? I'm going to keep it in my pocket forever. This is my little Jesus.
So,
I got a train coming by, but I got something I want y'all to, don't move on.
It was in Iraq and it was destroyed in 2014. It was ISIS.
I don't know. We don't know what happened to Jonah at the end of the book of Jonah. Nineveh was later destroyed like 70 years after this.
Yeah.
I don't feel that Jonah went there to save the Ninevites. And the reason I say that is because Jonah never once called them to repentance. They did, though. Never once did he say, repent, or you're going to be, so he said 40 days and that's it. Y'all are gone. And they, of their own volition, repent. And God says, you know what? I'm going to give them a second chance. And I think that's powerful. To show that God's servant was willing to do the job, but they did it very begrudgingly. Eventually willing.
Well, sure.
But Jonah was very begrudging about it. It just makes it even that much more powerful, because I know there have been times that I've done things that I did not want to do, but I knew I needed to do. And just blessed because I did it.
So there's a place called Nineveh on Google Maps, but that's not Nineveh.
No, Nineveh was utterly destroyed and never rebuilt. It's one of the few cities that when it was destroyed was never rebuilt.
The walls
Usually
of
they'll build
Nineveh,
up.
though, there are some ruins of
Crater.
them.
Yeah, it's in a crater.
And if you look for the body of water that would be nearest to Nineveh, it's a long walk. So,
Yeah, it is.
This is the other cool thing about this story of Jonah that I was talking about in or when we were talking about it. So Jonah swallowed by a fish, and he's in the fish's gut for 3 days. And you must imagine, you must imagine that it's possible that Jonah's body was being slowly digested by stomach acid during those 3 days. So by the time he was expelled by the fish, his hair and skin would have been white, and he would have looked straight unreal. And then this dude would have walked into town and been like, God's not happy with y'all. He would have smelled and been bleached. His skin would have been bleached. He would have
They worshipped fish in Nineveh too.
They've worshipped fish in a lot of ancient societies for a long time.
You come smelling like fish and you look like that.
I mean, he would have looked very bad. It would not have been good.
Yeah.
I have another theory, but we'll wait for another show on that.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I have one more thing I want to show you. It's a minute long. It's a minute and 18 seconds long. You're both going to enjoy this so much.
Okay.
We're going to end on a happy note today. So here you go. Watch this.
What are your personal opinions on President Trump's recent announcement that he plans to deconstruct the current Department of Education and give the power back to the states? And what can you say to potential people with families or people with children? What can you say to comfort them about this specific, at a loss for a word, announcement that he's made?
Well, in answer to your first question, what would I say? I guess I would say, zippity-doo-dah, zippity, my, oh my, what a wonderful day. That'd be the first thing I would say. And what would I say to the parents who are concerned? I would say, plenty of sunshine heading your way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity. That's what I would say. The Department of Education has been a complete failure. It's not only been a huge waste of taxpayer money, but it's one charge, which is to make students smarter and better educated. It's completely failed at over its 40 plus years of existence. Test scores have gone down. So it's just a complete joke. It's really good at forcing local schools to adopt the latest LGBT craze or whatever, but it's not good at much else.
Mm-hmm.
So I say good riddance. Bye-bye, Department of Education. And I tell parents your kids are going to get a much better education as a result of it.
Yay.
So I looked into the budget of my school this week.
Yeah.
45% of the budget of my school is paid by local city taxes. 55% is paid by the state of Texas. 2 to 3% is paid by the federal government. You're not, if your school district is anything like mine, the Department of Education being eradicated, you're not even going to notice. I mean, you're going to get some administrators being like, oh, the budget's tight. They were already overspending.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So bye, Department of Education. Don't need you.
That's all I've got today. I've got my show coming up here at 9.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get going. Let's see.
Dave, you got anything else? There's a couple of stories that I had. We'll save over till tomorrow.
I just had the crazy travel experience all this weekend.
You need to tell us that. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be here Friday, and I'm not going to be here next week.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us how'd you enjoy Dallas? I'm sure you enjoyed Dallas. Did you run around? Just stay in the hotel?
I'm glad to be home.
That's what JJ and I said about New York. Glad to be home.
All right, I'm going to go first. I'm going to go first for jokes, and that way the audience can hear good ones before it's over. Mahatma Gandhi, as you know, walked barefoot most of the time, which produced an impressive set of calluses on his feet. He also ate very little, which made him rather frail in his odd diet, and he suffered from bad breath. This made him a super calloused, fragile Mystic hexed by halitosis.
Oh, that was your best one yet, dude. That was great.
That's an old one though.
Super callous.
I knew I saw it coming, but
yeah.
All right. Do you got? I was thinking about this the other day. I've never once cleaned the mirrors in my house.
No.
Yeah, I just don't see myself doing that. Come on, that was pretty good. Come on. That wasn't bad.
All right, Dave.
How did the chef clear his head at work?
I don't know.
He went for a walk.
A walk.
Hey, the kids liked that. All right. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow with amazing news and things.
Can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your dog